Well, hello, good people. Welcome to the Genuinely Curious podcast. I'm your host, Shantiana Keys, and this is our third episode. And I'm excited to be here. I'm in a new location. Yeah, another spot in my house because it's finally nice in Georgia. There's sunlight coming into my home, so that is a beautiful and great thing. And so I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're in the natural light rather than my ring light like normal. Not a ton happening in my personal life in the last week, but so many things happening in sports and pop culture. And that's what we're here to talk about. So let's just dive right in. All right. We started off the week. We have Beyonce showing that she was there at Coachella, which is insane. First of all, the fact that no one knew, there was so much speculation about would she show at Stagecoach because of that tractor trailer thing that was there with Cowboy Carter promotion on it. And so for her to pop out 2-3 weeks later, like, oh yeah, I was there. And of course she was there to support her Parkwood artist, Chloe Bailey. And I just thought it was so cute. Chloe Bailey posted that they surprised her, they being Beyonce and Kelly Rowland. And I just love that. Like, just quietly supporting, not to take away from the event or take away from Chloe. She waited 3 weeks to tell the world, like, oh yeah, I was there. I snuck in. And like, the outfit was spectacular. Okay. I'm not one for a lot of American flag paraphernalia. It's just like not my vibe. But the way Beyonce wore this, honey, this was next level. And if you haven't seen it, I'll put it on the screen if you're watching the podcast. But Beyonce just like cannot be outdone. She cannot be duplicated. Like, I have a hard time when people want to discuss Beyonce with anyone else. I mean, anyone else. Okay. And I just don't think she's rivaled. Like, I don't know. It's disrespectful at this point when y'all put other people in conversation. That just is what it is. All right, we'll move on because I could talk about this forever. But I did want to mention there's a TikTok creator that came up with this theory that Beyonce is preparing for her own festival, in which case I will be sat, standing, camping, wherever it is, I will be there because that would be a moment in history. Can you imagine? Like, sure, that feels like it's the next frontier for Beyonce. Having a festival in the middle of anywhere. But somebody said Houston. Okay, cool. Let's go to Houston. We'll fly to Houston. There are flights to Houston. I live in Atlanta. We're the hub of Delta. Like, I will get there. What would that look like? Is it going to look like Coachella? Probably not, right? The girlies are not going to be like not showering for 4 days. That's not how we would get down. I already know. But I do think that it is something that we would pop out for. And I do think it would be something so specifically Beyonce that you would be glamping. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, can we get an RV there? Yes, and I would do that in a heartbeat for Beyonce. Frankly, I'd sleep in a tent, but I don't think that would be the vibe. And I also wonder, would she have other artists there? Like, would her Parkwood artists be performing? I think that would be big. That would be phenomenal. Now, they did the Made in America thing for a while. And so maybe they feel like they've got that under their belt. They can do that. There hasn't been one, I don't think, recently. So like, maybe they're preparing for this. And like, Jay-Z, we will even let you perform, like, you pop out, do you a couple of sets, like, we will be there tapped in. All right. So Beyonce's team, let's make that happen, because I did have on my New Year's resolution that I would want to go to a festival. All right. And what better festival would there be? I mean, a Beyonce festival. I mean, we could workshop the name a little bit, but like, that would be phenomenal. Okay. Thank you for coming to that talk. All right. Now moving on to the Met Gala. All right. Lots of celebrities, lots of designers, lots of conversation about, is this frivolous? But we're going to dive into the very superficial aspects of this. And we're going to talk about the outfits. All right. Zendaya and La Roche. Like, where else do we start? Okay. Now, did we expect probably more drama? Yeah. Like, when the first outfit came out, it was like, oh, okay, like, we're keeping it high fashion. She's serving the look. She's serving the pose, which you already know she does and does so well. Would eat up the modeling business if she decided to. And I just think that Law kept it cute, kept it like just the fashion, like didn't want to do too much. Okay. Like they absolutely could have gone for that like Cinderella theatrics. You remember when her skirt lifted and he was the fairy godmother? Like they could have gone for that. But her being the co-chair, I feel like he just wanted the fashion and Zendaya to speak for itself. And I think it did. Now, the drama was added, of course, when she came around her second look. Okay. Her second look was bigger. I don't know that it was more dramatic, but it was bigger. It was very long black dress, and her headdress was a bouquet of flowers. So like I thought that was really awesome. She closed the carpet and was able to do that, I'm sure, only because she was the co-chair. So I saw an interview, which like the cutting room floor, just PS, is now my new favorite interview show. Like the host, I think her last name is Amdi. Like she's phenomenal. She is pushing the envelope with her guests. Now listen, I've seen like a couple of clips before and I thought like, wow, this person is like very sure of themselves and I love that. But her interview with La Roche like sold me on the whole thing. Like she was in her bag, in her fashion bag, like that's her expertise. And she was pushing on someone who could have easily just been like, no, I'm not answering questions. But La Roche was there with her, present with her, gave her the, I don't want to say like sound bites. I don't think he was trying to be sound bitey, but he gave her the information that people want. And I love that. There are very few journalists or interviewers at this point that are able to do that. And when they are able to do that, like those people stand out. Now, I could probably rattle off a few of them. I think the guy from Hot Ones, Sean, he does a great job. Very in depth, very studied. There's the guy who does like the film junkets. I don't know his name, but he asks a lot of very in-depth questions, like incredibly in-depth. And I feel like he always gets that like remark, oh, that's such a great question. And then Amelia Dims, like it may not be the most deep question, but I just feel like she gets a lot out of her guests. So anyway, that was a side tangent. Let's get back to the Met Gala. But both of those looks by Zendaya were Galliano. I really enjoyed it. Again, I thought people were expecting a lot more of it, but I felt like they met the moment and did a good job. La Roche also had a client that a lot of people didn't know who she was. Okay, so her name is Mona Patel. She's a businesswoman and she was wearing Iris Van Herpen. I don't know if that's pronounced right, but La Roche, who I thought the man was retired, but he retired when it comes to not Zendaya. You know what I'm saying? But I think she looked phenomenal and people had no idea who she was really, but they knew the look was on the best dress. So she looked great. La Roche like snuck her in there and I guess it's building her portfolio. But I do think it goes to show you how a person can make a name for themselves with styling and like get the press that they need for their careers by styling. And I just watched the like Vogue behind the scenes with Emma Chamberlain and I feel like she's done that. She's been able to make her transition from YouTube to the world and pop culture because she had a good stylist who has leaned into like the big fashion brands and she's been able to have campaigns with people like Gucci. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting proposition. I also just watched after watching the cutting room floor, it made me go back and watch the Hollywood Reporter roundtable with designers, with stylists. And right now there's like this viral clip of La Roche basically saying like, if you say no to us, you say no forever. And so there are the five of the big designers who would not give Zendaya the time of day when they were coming up. He has refused to work with them. And I think that's important. But yeah, all in all, I just love how style and stylists can kind of change the narrative for a lot of people. But moving on, a couple notable mentions. Guy with the camera, Reese. I thought he was epic with the skirt, the detailing on the jacket. I believe he was in Tom Brown. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, my bad. Lewis Hamilton. His was all black and like not the most like out of the ordinary, like had good jewelry, just like very sleek, suave, which I have come to expect from him. But I also thought like his backstory was the best part of it all. Like, I think he said it was the first British gardener It was inspired by him, and obviously the theme was Garden of Time, which like who even understands like the difference between the theme and the like, I don't even know what the other criteria is, but there was something about like Sleeping Beauty. Maybe that's the art exhibit. I don't know. The theme though was Garden of Time. So I love that. And then Dan Levy, from Schitt's Creek. I liked his. Like, it was very like simple, of course, because like what else do men do on that carpet? But I did like the like color at the bottom and how like faded into the color. I thought that was very beautiful, very pretty. So yeah, those were the things that stood out to me. I did watch Emma Chamberlain, some of her videos on the carpet. She wasn't part of the live stream. I guess they had her just doing like snippets, which was interesting because it looked as though the interviews happened before they got onto the carpet, which I don't think previously that was how it went. Like, I think Lala Anthony and whoever was on that broadcast, they were inside, like after you got off the carpet, whereas Emma was before you got on the carpet. So things felt kind of rushed, and it also probably was annoying to people to stand there. There's a video of Kieran Culkin like standing behind Emma, and he seems like he's like, okay, like annoyed. I don't know. And I was like, I wonder why he's so annoyed. But then I realized like they're waiting to get onto the carpet. So he's probably just like, okay, I'm ready to get this done, get this over with. And there's just this young girl with this camera. Because you got to think about it. Like, a lot of people still don't know who Emma Chamberlain is. And so, of course, to like the younger pop culture or internet kids, like they know exactly who she is. And like it makes sense. But you had like Jerry Seinfeld and Jimmy Fallon like being interviewed by Emma Chamberlain. The whole interview, I felt like Jimmy Fallon was playing interference between Jerry and Emma. Like, Jerry just thought like, who is this young girl talking to me about this stuff? And I felt like Jimmy Fallon kind of was trying to give her some credibility. I don't know how to better explain that. It just was a very weird dynamic. Another weird one was the guy from Challengers, the Broadway guy. I can't think of his name right now. Matthew, maybe? I don't know. The two Challengers guys were there. The one was incredibly pleasant, the British one. And then the other one just seemed like he was like, can we get this over with? Now, I've watched some other interviews now, and it seems to be kind of his personality, his shtick. Like, if it's not incredibly deep, he like doesn't care to talk about it. But she asked him about like their favorite candy or something. Like, and one of them said, oh, Jolly Rancher. Like, and then the other one was like, yeah, anything with that, gotta go. And I thought that was so weird. Like, sir, just do the interview. I don't know, it's annoying, but like, then don't go. Don't have your publicist put you in front of a camera. I don't know. And he seems like a lovely person, because of course I had to deep dive on him, because I'm like, surely this was just like a bad day. But I don't know. He just seems like very out of it in every interview that I've seen. And then there's like a moment where he smiles like with his co-stars, but then like for the most part, I just felt like he doesn't want to be there, which like, I mean, I get it. I guess. Like, I'm not an actor though who goes on a press junket. Okay, moving on from the Met Gala, we've got news that Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber are pregnant. And I'm telling y'all, I literally like audibly gasped, because I can remember watching that documentary they had, Our World, on Prime, and Justin like being so excited to be a dad, one, but he was like so good with his brothers and sisters and like the kids, his nieces and nephews, that you could like tell he was itching to be a dad. And he even says it in there. He says like at the end of 2021, like us trying to have a kid, and like at the time she wasn't ready, so you gotta assume now she's 27, she is ready. But they're having a baby like in the next 4 months. She's 6 months along, which is crazy. But it's just so funny that like that's how Hollywood works. Like, literally a month ago there were rumors that they were getting divorced, and of course like her dad saying please pray for Justin and Hailey, like randomly, that didn't help either. Like, it was such a strange thing for her dad to be saying on the internet. So people thought, oh gosh, they're gonna break up. And then there was just that one photo of them out in public going to church. But now you look back, she was pulling a Halle Bailey. Like, she did have oversized clothes on. So we should have known. Apparently people in Hollywood did know, just not the regular people like me. But I just love it. I just love that little clip. He's like, oh, we're going to squish out a little nugget. And now they finally get to, and I just think he'll probably be just the best dad, you know? He seems like very soft-hearted You know, every time he talks to the kids in, I think it's his brothers and sisters in that documentary, he's like, you know, you're special. Like, you know, I love you. I love, we can only, God, it's me again, you know? And we're really sick of waiting around. I'm just kidding. No, if he doesn't talk to kids like Justin Bieber, I don't want it. Okay. So happy for them. They did this shoot out in, I think it was out of the country. Anyway, it was in a green pasture and was so cute. They like renewed their vows with their pastor out in this pasture. Justin was taking pictures of her, like holding her bump. I thought her veil looked like part of her wedding dress, her original wedding dress, but it doesn't appear to be. But either way, like just such a sweet moment. Very cute way to announce it, like very low key. She could have announced it on the Met Gala carpet, come out with a baby bump, made it dramatic, and she didn't do that, which I love. Like this was just like cute, soft, posted on the internet and go away. The other thing was Justin's pictures of him crying. Now people are saying that kind of makes sense in hindsight, that he was probably just very happy about, you know, becoming a parent. And now I really want to know, because I'm just nosy like that. I'm just genuinely curious. Was he crying because, like, what was he crying over? Was that like when she told him that they were going to be parents? Was it like at the ultrasound, like the appointment? Listen to me, I don't even know these like pregnancy appointment names and stuff. Anyway, but like at the doctor, was there just like something so beautiful like in the process that he just started crying? Like, I don't know. Anyway, we love sensitive guys who can be in touch with their emotions. But I'm also glad that it wasn't like he is in distress, because that certainly could have been a possibility. It certainly occurred to me that he posted 2 photos of him crying on the internet, and like, Justin, I mean, he's had a tough time. So I just was glad to hear that that was not the case. Okay, moving on to the WNBA getting charter flights. Like, heaven's sakes, it just has been a long time coming. Like, these athletes, they go from flying in college and like getting this like first class experience to going to the WNBA, where they're hopping on the same flights as you and me, you know, like just hopping on commercial flights. And it's crazy. Like, these women whose faces are everywhere, but now getting what they deserve. Their CBA, I think, runs through 2027. And so that was kind of like the next stopping point of like, will they get charter flights in their contract? Because they weren't allowed to before, because it gave an undue advantage to certain owners who were willing to spend that money or have that money spent in that way. So now these women, instead of being stuck in these airports, which absolutely happens, having flights that get delayed till 1 a.m, 2 a.m, and then having to turn around and play the next day is going to be important. They had moved to like charter flights. Like, there was enough pressure on the league, like flights during the playoffs. And I think maybe there was one stipulation about like back-to-backs and things like that. But I'm glad to see it's finally happened. It says Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, she has been like pretty vocal about it, I guess, in the past, because people have been critical over time about that. And she said basically, like, if we can't afford it, like, we're not going to do it. And she's a accounting girly, like worked at Deloitte. Like, she's not about to spend money they don't have. And so anyway, it's going to cost $25 million. It's supposed to start to be phased in. It's so funny. Like, Kathy Engelbert, I guess, didn't tell anybody, and like popped up out of nowhere and was like, hey, charter flights. And then like the Aces, after going to the White House, like got stuck at the airport, and like the epitome, of course, if that would happen. But I'm excited for them. That is another like first class, like pro type thing that they should be getting all the time, and absolutely deserve. Like, it's really small in the grand scheme of it all. And yeah, you worry about like injuries, tightness, turnarounds, like that type of stuff. Like, those type of things can go away when you are able to fly them where they need to go. It appears that my favorite airline, Delta, will be the fleet that they are on, which I love. But no, really, you used to like, I ran into, I think, the Indiana fever several years ago at an airport. I think I was in Indiana. And like, that's crazy. Like, you should not be on the same flight as me, girly pop. You are much better than that. And every other men's sporting team does not fly charter. You get what I'm saying? And WNBA always leads the way. I think that's probably the only women's league that is gonna have charters, like in the U.S. Excuse me, like the NWSL. Certainly not the hockey leagues. I don't think that there is a league, women's league, that flies charter. I could be wrong, and if I am, let me know. But so happy for them. Glad that this was able to happen. Okay, rounding back to this Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef that we have been on for a couple weeks. First off, let me say what an epic time to be alive, you know, and to be on the internet, because not everybody got this chance. And, you know, rap beefs before this could not have gone back and forth the way that they do now. And I just think we should all be grateful for that. It has been crazy. Okay, let me run through the timeline. March 22nd. Like That comes out, Kendrick disses Drake, okay, on a Future song. All right. April 19th, Push Ups by Drake drops, okay. Taylor Made drops on the same day, leaked or whatever. Has to be taken down because there's a cease and desist sent out by the Tupac estate. All right. April 30th, Kendrick responds with Euphoria. Several allegations, Drake is lame, you know, all that kind of stuff. All right. By May 3rd, Kendrick is like, oh, okay, well, you haven't responded yet? I'm going to drop 616 in LA, which, again, is a play on some of Drake's other titles. All right. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, Drake responds May 3rd at 11:45 p.m. Okay, so middle of the night for most of us, okay, unless you're on the West Coast, you know, you're in your late evening. Well, Kendrick is like, oh, I was ready for that. All right, all those allegations you had about me and my family, I knew that angle, and here we are. I've got Meet the Grams. Now, Meet the Grams was very dark. I'll say that, okay? There's all these, like, minor allegations, you know, Drake. If you know, you know, okay? Drake and underage girls and that sort of thing, okay? So Kendrick responds with that, and that's literally, like, within 15 minutes. So I'm up late at night in my house, like, I'm on somebody's live and they're like, Drake just dropped. And so we're on there talking about that. And then boom, it's like, oh no, go listen. Kendrick just dropped something. Insanity. Like there will never be a night like that in hip hop again, probably, just because of the state of the world. And again, it was insane. So then you're just like waiting around like, okay, well, is Drake going to respond at all? Well, he doesn't. Okay. It's May 4th at 7:50 p.m. Kendrick decides to drop Not Like Us. All right. Gave him, I guess, yeah, less than 24 hours. Kendrick comes back with a response, and it just wipes out any momentum Drake could have had. He took his momentum the night before, of course. Okay. Like nobody was talking about Family Matters after that. Great record though. Just when you get hit with a 1-2 punch, like Meet the Grams is Not Like Us, it just was the knockout. But Drake was not done yet. He came back with The Heart Part 6. It was not good. And so that's unfortunate because not only did he wait like a day and a half, he was saying that, you know, I fed that information to your camp. And it was like, baby, if you did, this was a bad idea. Because why would you leak that information? Why would you want people saying that you like little kids when you don't? Like, that's just weird. And wouldn't you have responded immediately with the receipts? It wouldn't have taken you a day and a half to come up with that trash bag juice that came out. We expected better. We wanted better. And Kendrick has not responded. There were rumors that Kendrick was going to respond again, but it's like, is it even worth it? He made his bed. He lied in it. And then just in between all that, actually, Metro Boomin went on this rant on Twitter, that was funny in and of itself, and put out an open call on this beat called BBL Drizzy, all right, which is from a different creator. It was like an AI creator who put this song out maybe like a month ago, and it's of this like probably 70s style singer singing BBL Drizzy. Because obviously Drake has been accused of getting BBLs by multiple people, Meg Thee Stallion being one of them. But yeah, it was crazy. I thought, who's seen open call on a rap battle beef on a beat? Come on. No one's seen that. That was the first of its kind. And I will say, embarrassingly, I had not listened to Mr. Morale before this week, which I'm not sure how I did it. I think I started the tracks and then never made it back to it. It's beautiful, and I'm just not sure why it took me so long to get back to it. But it seems like it's having a resurgence because of this whole internet beef situation. But Kendrick is just such a good artist, and this is a special one for people who are gonna listen to this and listen to this only. Like, I wouldn't clip this because who needs the internet coming after me? But this comparison, it gives Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Okay, Kendrick's artistry versus Drake's artistry, I just don't know that they're comparable. Okay, I don't know that we should be even having that conversation. I get it, big three and all that. I just don't even know how Drake got into big three. He got into big three because of streams and sales, or like based on the not early works, like the 2010s work. You know, I just don't feel like the work as of the last decade is worthy of like top three. I'm sorry, and that's, again, Drake fans, if you listen to this, like, no shade, no tea. It just, no, it doesn't really work for me. And then he just had weird behavior. Like, why did that man give the like sad guy who showed up without his girlfriend because the girlfriend dumped him before the concert? Like, one, Drake called her out her name, which, like, ew. Second, why would you give that man $100K? And I remember I made a video about that being weird behavior. And, like, of course, there were so many men in my comments talking about, wow, we just found the ex, I guess. Like, honey, y'all are just so sad and insecure. It's so yuck. And they want us to date out here in this economy, and that's what's even crazier. It's insane. Now, to wrap up, my genuinely curious questions this week: is doom piling specific to ADHDers? Okay, because I have doom piled my whole life, and I didn't realize it until I saw it on TikTok. And so now I'm like, wait a minute, do I have ADHD? Anyways, second, another thought is, why can't everybody sing? What is it that the singer is hearing differently that we, like, can't carry a tune? And I've always been curious about this. Like, I'll catch a note here or there for me over time, but I just want to know, what's the difference? Like, why can kids sing at like 5 years old? And I get the, like, power of voice and all that, but, like, why can't we hear it for it to be in tune? What is that about? But just so y'all know, if I could sing, y'all would be sick of me. You couldn't tell me. I would be on somebody's TikTok. Well, obviously I'm doing that already. In LA, like, singing my heart out, trying to be somebody's pop star. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell me anything. Okay. I'll do reviews next week. Just real quick off the top, I watched that Brooke Shields movie with Miranda Cosgrove. It was, like, decent romantic comedy. It was cute. It was cute for, like, a Saturday evening. So go do that if you haven't. But Bridgerton next week, okay? By the time I record, I will not have seen it because it won't have dropped. But I have a feeling that's going to be spicy and it's going to be worthy of us discussing. But thank y'all for coming to hang out with me. I really do love this. It can be a lot to, like, set up and all that. But, like, once I get started, y'all, this is my spot, okay? And I can't wait to have a guest. I have one in the works already, and I can't wait for y'all to hear me talk with them. But, yeah, so excited. Okay. We so excited. What is that from? Okay, I'm not helping the ADHD allegations, I don't think. Okay, gotta go. See ya. Next episode. It's been Genuinely Curious with Shantiana Keys. Bye.